now we have the 1004 set up, and as the amp dyno can only test 2 channels at a time, we're set up in stereo mode, which means we have the amplifier bridged with a 4 ohm load being supplied by the amp dyno. So this you could divide up. So this is going to be basically what we call max power, and I hate the word max because a lot of people use that in a way, but this is going to be your most power out. The same amount of power can be had in 4 channels, just divide it by 4 at 2 ohms, or this is bridged at 4 ohms, okay? Make sense?
Got it.
All right.
4 channels bridged to 2 channels stereo.
Yep.
Into 4 ohm load. And we do not want to go to a 1 ohm load when bridging the amplifier into stereo. So keep it a 4 ohm load.
Yeah, this amplifier is stable at 2 ohms, so when you bridge it, you see half the impedance, so that is a 4 ohm load.
And with this much power, you might really want to use an 8 ohm speaker anyway.
Yeah, this is going to be, that'll be the fun part. I really kind of want to see how people use these. So, amp dyno power at 14.46, that's about as close to 14.4 as we can get. 947 watts one channel, 954 the other.
Wow.
If you look at the graphs over here, 1% is right there. And so 1% power is right at 1K. So we're within 60 watts this time.
Wow.
We're right at 1,001 watts is what we are at, right at 1%.
Wow,
So,
okay.
So
that's
this is,
lot.
you know, we call it a 1004, but it's really, you know.
And almost 2004.
Almost a 2004, yeah. So we will do this same test with uncertified.
Okay.
Might as well, since how we did it on the other one. So let's try this again with the 40 hertz tone.
That's a good point, Joe.
As this amp will play both, right? Because there's a capture rate on every product, right? So
sure.
Let's reset this, same exact test, we're just going to use a different tone.
So we're going to use a 40 hertz tone while testing the full range amplifier. Mm-hmm. So this is a pretty brutal test for a full range amplifier.
Yeah, about as hard as it gets.
So, and this is important to understand that a lot of amplifiers are not going to make the same power at 40 hertz as they do 1 kilohertz. So this is definitely a brutal test.
So I'm about to do it one more time to try to capture THD along with the power. There we go. So 942 watts at 1%. They're
Wow.
showing 990. So that would be
It's about a 50
right about there, which in this case would be right at about 2.5% on this amplifier.
Okay.
You know, so it's kind of hard, like I said, I mean, this SMD dyno is really great at what it does. Like, it's good at showing you somewhere between 1 and 3% on certified. Uncertified, I'm not quite so sure what they're actually looking at for THD to get that number. Because they're using the same track, the same signal, but it seems to be different on one amp versus another as to what number you get.
So like you said, perhaps the capture ratio.
Yeah, it could be, but we just use 40 hertz the same, so I don't, yeah, it could, it could be the how fast it can adjust to the power levels, right? This is a lower power level.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's 1,000 watts and it's not bridged, whereas the other one, we have to bridge the inputs on the amp dyno to be able to accept higher power for mono. So it could have something to do with that. Either way, the amp dyno gives you a pretty good idea of what you make right about when you're hitting clipping, right?
Yeah.
It's not as repeatable as an AP, nor can you like see the power curve or the THD curve like you can on an AP, but it gives you a good idea. It's a good, really good consumer grade piece of equipment.